You've probably tried ChatGPT for marketing tasks and been underwhelmed with the generic results. That's because you're missing the crucial element that transforms AI from a basic tool into a marketing superpower: your proprietary data. The marketers seeing revolutionary results aren't using off-the-shelf AI. They're building custom brand brains. If you're spending hours each week on content creation, campaign management, or performance analysis, this podcast will show you how to build an AI system that can take over these tasks while you focus on strategic work that actually moves the needle. The difference between marketers who thrive in the AI era and those who get replaced comes down to what I'm about to show you. The daily grind, my life as a task-oriented marketer. What if I told you the most valuable marketing asset isn't your content calendar or analytics dashboard, but the hours you're currently wasting on repetitive tasks? When I worked as a marketing manager at a mid-sized software company, my days followed a predictable pattern. I'd arrive at 8:30, immediately open my email to find 15 new requests that had come in overnight, 3 emails from my boss asking for updates on campaign metrics, 4 from the sales team requesting custom content for specific prospects, 2 from the product team with last-minute feature announcements they needed promoted, and the rest? A mix of internal requests and client questions that all needed immediate attention. By 9:15, I'd already abandoned my planned schedule for the day. My original intention to work on our quarterly marketing strategy was pushed aside again for the 3rd week in a row. Instead, I found myself updating social media posts, tweaking ad copy, pulling performance reports from 3 different platforms, and reformatting them into a presentation our executives could understand. Lunchtime would come and go, usually eaten at my desk while I attended a meeting about email open rates or landing page conversions. The afternoon wasn't any different. I'd spend hours creating content, blog posts, social media updates, email newsletters, then revise them based on feedback, upload them to various platforms, schedule them, and create tracking links to measure performance. By 6:30 p.m., I'd realize I had stayed 2 hours late again. Looking at my to-do list, I'd completed dozens of tasks, but hadn't touched a single strategic project. The quarterly plan remained untouched. The competitive analysis I wanted to conduct was still just an idea. The new channel strategy I had been excited about existed only as a few bullets in a document I rarely had time to open. This wasn't just an occasional bad day. This was every day for 3 years. I worked weekends. I answered emails at night. I felt constantly busy but never productive in ways that mattered for my career growth. The specific frustrations went beyond just being busy. Content demands were relentless. Our company published daily on 5 different platforms, each requiring unique formats and approaches. We'd spend hours crafting the perfect messaging, only to have engagement rates that barely moved the needle on actual business results. Campaign management was another major time drain. We ran PPC campaigns across multiple platforms, and each required constant adjustments. Bid management alone took hours each week, with spreadsheets tracking keyword performance that required manual updating and analysis. When performance dipped, I'd spend entire days testing new ad variations, adjusting targeting parameters, and then documenting all the changes for later analysis. Reporting was perhaps the most soul-crushing aspect. I'd pull data from Google Analytics, our CRM, social platforms, email marketing software, and ad platforms. Then I'd spend hours in Excel creating pivot tables and charts that told a cohesive story about our marketing performance. After all that work, executives would glance at it for 5 minutes and ask questions I'd need another day to answer. The pressure to show ROI without time to actually plan how to improve it created a vicious cycle. We'd implement quick tactics for short-term gains rather than developing solid strategies that could deliver sustainable results. After a particularly frustrating month where I had worked every weekend but still missed several deadlines, I decided to track exactly how I was spending my time. For 1 full week, I logged every task, how long it took, and categorized it as either tactical or strategic work. The results shocked me. Out of a 55-hour work week, I spent only 2 hours on actual strategic thinking, less than 4% of my time. Content creation consumed 40% of my week. Reporting and analysis took 25%. Campaign adjustments took 20%. The remaining time was spent in meetings that rarely resulted in actionable decisions. This personal revelation came at a critical moment for our company. Our market was getting more competitive, with 3 new competitors launching similar products at lower price points. Our campaign performance had begun declining across channels. Cost per acquisition had increased 30% year over year, while conversion rates dropped by 15%. In our monthly leadership meeting, our CEO made it clear: marketing needed to deliver better results without additional resources. We needed to be more strategic, more targeted, and more efficient, all while continuing to feed the content and campaign machine that consumed all my time. I remember sitting in that meeting, feeling a growing sense of desperation. How could I possibly find time to develop better strategies when I could barely keep up with daily tasks? Something needed to change, but I couldn't see a way out of the cycle. The turning point came unexpectedly. I was complaining to a friend who worked in software development about my workload, and she asked a simple question: have you considered using AI to automate some of those repetitive tasks? I had dismissed AI as just another buzzword. Sure, I'd seen the headlines about ChatGPT and other tools, but I hadn't connected them to my specific challenges. My friend explained how her team had automated code reviews and testing processes, freeing up hours each week for more creative work. This conversation planted a seed that would eventually transform not just my daily routine, but my entire approach to marketing. The next day, I started researching how AI might help with my specific challenges. I began with a more detailed time audit, breaking down exactly which tasks consumed my time and which might be candidates for automation. I identified 3 immediate opportunities: social media content creation, basic performance reporting, and PPC bid management. Together, these tasks consumed nearly 20 hours of my week. If I could even partially automate them, I might finally have time to work on strategy. Within 2 months of implementing basic AI tools for these tasks, I had reclaimed 15 hours per week. Reports that once took 3 hours to compile now took 30 minutes. Social media content that consumed entire afternoons could be drafted in an hour with human review. Bid adjustments that required constant attention were now handled by algorithms that outperformed my manual efforts. The transformation started with that simple time audit. By understanding exactly where my hours were going, I could target specific processes for automation. As I freed up time, I reinvested it in learning more advanced AI applications, creating a virtuous cycle of increasing efficiency. For the first time in years, I had time to think strategically. I developed a competitive response plan that helped us reposition against the new market entrants. I created customer journey maps that revealed gaps in our content strategy. I conducted actual analysis of our campaign performance rather than just reporting numbers. This initial success with basic AI tools made me wonder: if simple automation could deliver these results, what might be possible with more sophisticated approaches? I started exploring how AI might do more than just handle repetitive tasks, how it might actually enhance our marketing intelligence and creativity. That's when I first encountered the concept of AI as more than just a productivity tool. I began to see it as a potential marketing partner that could augment our team's capabilities in ways I hadn't imagined. My first AI experiments. The ChatGPT disappointment. Ever tried using ChatGPT for marketing and felt the results were just missing something? After experiencing those early wins with basic AI automation, I became fascinated with what these new tools might do for our content creation process. While our team was debating whether to hire another content writer to keep up with demand, I decided to run a quiet experiment on the side. I started spending my evenings exploring ChatGPT, initially just for fun. I'd ask it to generate social media posts, email subject lines, and short product descriptions. The responses came back instantly and seemed decent at first glance. This was a far cry from the clunky marketing automation tools we'd tried in the past. My excitement grew as I realized this could potentially solve our content bottleneck issues. I began systematically testing different prompts, trying to generate content for our upcoming product launch. I'd input information about features, benefits, and target audiences, then ask for social media posts, blog outlines, and even email sequences. The initial results seemed promising enough that I created a small test batch of content. I carefully selected 10 social media posts generated by ChatGPT, made minor edits, and included them in our content calendar without telling anyone they came from AI. I was confident they would blend in seamlessly with our other content. The experiment didn't go as planned. During our weekly content review meeting, our creative director immediately flagged 8 of the 10 AI-generated posts. "These don't sound like us at all," she said. "The language is too generic. Where's our usual voice? Where's the technical expertise we pride ourselves on?" She wasn't wrong. Looking at the posts with fresh eyes, I noticed they used generic marketing language that could apply to any software company. They lacked the specific technical terminology our audience expected. They didn't reference our company's history or values. They completely missed the slightly irreverent tone we had carefully cultivated over years. One post particularly stood out. "Revolutionize your workflow with our game-changing new feature. Say goodbye to inefficiency forever." It sounded like generic marketing copy from the early 2000s, not our brand that prided itself on honest, straightforward communication with technical professionals. Another post claimed our product eliminated all security concerns, a claim our compliance team would never approve, and that contradicted our careful messaging about security being an ongoing process, not a one-time fix. Beyond the voice issues, there were factual problems. ChatGPT confidently cited outdated information about our pricing model. It referenced competitors who had exited the market years ago. It completely missed important compliance considerations specific to our industry. I tried improving my prompts, providing more context about our brand voice, target audience, and key messages. I even fed it examples of our most successful content. The results improved slightly, but still fell short. The AI-generated content remained generic, lacking the depth of industry knowledge and brand authenticity our audience expected. This experience led to my first critical insight. Off-the-shelf AI tools like ChatGPT simply didn't have access to the specific information that made our brand unique. They couldn't access our internal data, understand our company history, or deeply comprehend our industry's technical requirements without being specifically trained on that information. The generic AI had been trained on public internet content, giving it broad knowledge but limited depth in any specific area. It didn't understand our customers' pain points the way our team did. After thousands of support conversations, it couldn't reference the specific technical limitations our product had overcome. It had no access to our customer success stories or the precise language our best customers used when describing our solution. I realized that for AI to truly be valuable in marketing, it needed access to our proprietary data and brand knowledge. Without that foundation, it could only generate generic content that would never resonate with our specific audience or reflect our unique brand identity. This realization sent me down a research rabbit hole. I started reading academic papers on AI, model training, and fine-tuning. I joined online communities where developers were discussing custom applications of language models. I spoke with data scientists at other companies about their approaches to AI implementation. What I discovered was fascinating. The most successful companies weren't just using off-the-shelf AI tools. They were training custom models on their own proprietary data. Customer support transcripts, product documentation, successful marketing campaigns, sales calls, and other internal information that contained the essence of their brand and customer relationships. 3 weeks into my research, I came across a case study that changed everything. A financial services company had built what they called a brand brain, a custom AI model trained specifically on their internal knowledge base, compliance documentation, past marketing campaigns, and customer interactions. This custom model could generate content that perfectly matched their voice, adhered to their strict compliance requirements, and resonated with their specific customer segments. Unlike generic AI, this custom model didn't hallucinate facts or misunderstand industry terminology. It had been trained on accurate, specific information about the company's products and services. It understood the regulatory landscape because it had processed thousands of pages of compliance documentation. It captured the brand voice because it had analyzed years of successful marketing content. This was the fundamental difference between generic AI and custom brand brains. Generic AI has broad knowledge but limited depth in any specific area. It doesn't understand what makes your business unique or what your customers truly care about. A brand brain, on the other hand, is specifically trained to understand your company, your products, your customers, and your unique value proposition. The implications were enormous. With a custom AI model trained on our proprietary data, we could potentially generate content that truly sounded like us. We could scale our marketing efforts without losing brand consistency. We could create personalized content for different customer segments while maintaining our core messaging. But building such a system would require significant resources and technical expertise. It would mean collecting, organizing, and preparing our internal data. It would require partnerships with our IT, data science, and legal teams. It would need executive buy-in and budget allocation. I compiled my findings into a presentation, focusing on the limitations of generic AI tools and the potential of custom models. I included examples of the failed ChatGPT content alongside successful content from companies using custom AI models. I outlined what it would take to build our own brand brain and the potential return on investment. Now came the hard part. Convincing my manager this was worth pursuing. He was already skeptical about AI in general, viewing it as an unproven technology with unclear ROI. He was concerned about data security, potential brand damage from AI mistakes, and the resource requirements for implementation. I needed to make a compelling business case that focused on concrete outcomes, not just the exciting technology. I needed to address his concerns head-on and provide a clear, low-risk path forward. Most importantly, I needed to show how this approach could solve our actual business problems: content scalability, campaign performance, and marketing efficiency, rather than simply adopting technology for its own sake. As I finalized my presentation, I knew this wouldn't be an easy sell, but I also knew the potential was too significant to ignore. If we could successfully build our own brand brain, we could transform our marketing capabilities in ways that would give us a sustainable competitive advantage. Convincing the skeptics, building my business case. How do you convince a manager who still uses Excel for everything that AI is worth the investment? My manager, David, was the definition of old school. His office had stacks of printed reports with his handwritten notes in the margins. He tracked our marketing budget using a complex Excel spreadsheet he'd maintained for 8 years. When I mentioned AI during a meeting, he actually rolled his eyes. The resistance I faced when proposing AI implementation went beyond just David's comfort with traditional tools. Our department had real concerns. The first objection was predictable: budget. We already cut 15% from our software budget this quarter, David reminded me. Where exactly do you think this money will come from? The finance team backed him up, pointing out that our ROI on existing MarTech tools was already difficult to measure. Adding unproven AI tools seemed financially risky. Our creative director worried about brand consistency. We can't have robots writing our brand voice, she said. The content team expressed fears about their jobs. Would they be replaced if AI could generate content? Even our data analyst was skeptical, questioning whether the technology was mature enough for our needs. I realized I needed a comprehensive approach to address these varied concerns. I spent 3 weeks preparing my business case. Instead of leading with the technology, I focused on our business challenges. Our content production couldn't keep pace with demands across channels. Our campaign optimization was too slow to respond to market changes. Our competitors were starting to outpace us in both volume and performance. I conducted a detailed time study across our marketing department. Each team member logged their tasks for 2 weeks, categorizing them as strategic or tactical. The results were eye-opening. 72% of our collective time went to tactical, repetitive tasks. Content creation alone consumed 43 hours weekly across the team. Campaign management and reporting took another 38 hours. These numbers gave me concrete evidence of the problem. Next, I researched our competitors. 3 had publicly discussed their AI initiatives in earnings calls. One competitor had reduced their content production costs by 40% while increasing output by 30%. Another had improved campaign performance by implementing AI-driven optimization. They were already gaining advantages while we deliberated. For metrics, I chose 3 specific areas to track. First, hours saved on tactical tasks, a direct measure of efficiency. Second, content production increase, tracking both volume and the types of content we could produce. Third, campaign performance improvements, focusing on click-through rates, conversion rates, and cost per acquisition. I estimated conservative improvements in each area based on case studies from similar companies. The financial case was straightforward. If we could save just 20 hours per week across the team through AI automation, that represented approximately $52,000 in annual labor costs. If we could increase content production by 30% without adding headcount, that would save another $80,000 in potential hiring costs. If campaign performance improved by just 10%, that would translate to approximately $200,000 in additional revenue annually. I needed allies. I found them in unexpected places. Jacob from IT had been experimenting with AI tools for internal knowledge management. He offered technical support and server resources for a pilot program. Sarah from data science was eager to apply her machine learning expertise to a practical business problem. She volunteered to help with model training and evaluation. Even Melissa from legal proved helpful, noting that we already had data usage policies that could cover our AI experiments with minimal updates. These partnerships strengthened my proposal significantly. Instead of presenting a marketing-only initiative that required new technical skills, I showed a cross-functional approach using existing expertise. This reduced the perceived risk and implementation challenges. Before the formal proposal, I ran a small test project using open source tools. I collected examples of our highest performing social media posts from the past 2 years, about 200 in total. I used this data to fine-tune an open source language model with specific instructions to match our brand voice and messaging patterns. The results were impressive. The model generated social media content that our creative director could not consistently distinguish from human-written posts. More importantly, when we tested 10 AI-generated posts against 10 human-written posts, the AI content performed 22% better in engagement metrics. This small test cost nothing beyond my time and demonstrated clear potential. For my presentation to management, I crafted a specific strategy. I never once used buzzwords like artificial intelligence, machine learning, or neural networks. Instead, I focused entirely on business outcomes. The presentation had 3 sections: current challenges, proposed solution, and expected results. Technology was mentioned only as the means to achieve the business goals, not as the focus itself. I began with our content bottleneck problem, showing how requests had increased 40% while our team size remained constant. I demonstrated the cycle time for campaign optimizations average 8.2 days compared to our fastest competitor, 1.3 days. I showed examples of missed opportunities due to our inability to quickly adapt. When presenting the solution, I emphasized how the technology would augment our team's capabilities, not replace their expertise. I showed specific examples of tasks that could be automated, freeing our specialists to focus on strategy and creativity. I displayed the results from our small test project, linking them directly to business metrics everyone understood. The financial case came last, showing conservative projections of efficiency gains, cost savings, and performance improvements. I proposed a 3-month pilot program with specific success metrics and a modest budget of $12,000. The pilot would focus on one specific area: social media content creation, allowing us to measure results clearly before expanding. The presentation worked better than I expected. While David still had questions, the combination of clear business metrics, cross-departmental support, and demonstrated results from our test project addressed his primary concerns. The finance team appreciated the modest initial investment and clear ROI metrics. The creative team was reassured by seeing how they would guide and refine the AI outputs rather than be replaced by them. After some discussion, David approved the 3-month pilot program. His exact words were, "I'm still not convinced this isn't just another tech fad, but you've shown enough potential benefit to justify the test. If you hit these metrics, we'll talk about expanding it." This conditional approval was exactly what I needed. With a clear mandate and metrics for success, I could now move forward with implementing our first real AI system. What I didn't realize was that the technical implementation would present challenges I hadn't anticipated. The approval was just the beginning of a much more complex journey toward building our first brand brain. Building our first brand brain, the technical journey. What happens when a marketer with basic Python skills attempts to build a custom AI model? After securing approval for our pilot program, I developed what seemed like a reasonable plan. We would create a custom AI model trained on our existing marketing content. I had experience with basic Python scripts for data analysis, and the online tutorials made the process look straightforward. My naivety was about to be exposed. My plan was to train our model using 3 main data sources. First, our entire content library, 8 years of blog posts, social media content, and email campaigns that performed well. Second, our campaign data showing which messages resonated with different customer segments. Third, customer feedback from surveys and support tickets revealing the language customers used to describe their problems and our solutions. I estimated we could collect this data in 2 weeks, run the training process in another week, and have our first functional brand brain within a month. My timeline was off by about 6 months. The first technical hurdle appeared immediately during data collection. Our content existed across 12 different platforms, some in our CMS, others in email marketing tools, social media platforms, knowledge bases, and even Word documents on shared drives. Each system had different export formats, and many lacked proper APIs for data extraction. What I thought would take 2 weeks of data collection turned into a month-long project of building custom scraping tools and manually organizing content. Once collected, I discovered our data quality was inconsistent. Some content had proper metadata with performance metrics, creation dates, and target audiences. Others had nothing. In many cases, we had multiple versions of the same content with no clear indication of which was final. Our naming conventions were inconsistent, making it nearly impossible to automatically sort or categorize the content. I spent 3 weeks cleaning this data manually, creating a standardized format that could be used for training. But when I tried running the training process using an open source model, I hit another wall. My consumer-grade laptop crashed repeatedly, unable to handle the computational requirements. When I moved to a cloud computing instance, the costs quickly exceeded our budget. At this point, I realized I needed help. I reached out to Sarah from the data science team, who had offered support during my initial proposal. After reviewing my approach, she delivered the hard truth. What you're trying to do requires expertise in data engineering, machine learning operations, and natural language processing. Your approach is like trying to build a commercial airplane because you once made a paper one. Sarah helped me form a cross-functional working group to approach the problem properly. She brought in Raj, a data engineer who understood how to properly structure and pre-process data. Jacob from IT joined to help with infrastructure and security concerns. I recruited Emma from our content team to ensure the model would align with our brand voice. Rachel from legal advised on data usage compliance. This team transformed our approach. Instead of trying to build everything from scratch, they recommended a hybrid approach, starting with an existing model and fine-tuning it with our proprietary data. This would require less computational resources while still capturing our unique brand voice and knowledge. Raj taught me proper data preparation techniques. We created a data pipeline that standardized formats, removed duplicates, and normalized text across sources. We built a metadata schema that tagged content by type, audience, campaign, performance metrics, and creation date. This structured approach made the data usable not just for our current project, but for future analytics as well. For content preparation, we identified 3 categories: high-performing content that exemplified our brand voice, technical content that demonstrated product knowledge, and customer-facing communication that showed how we addressed problems. These categories would train different aspects of our model. The technical infrastructure proved more complex than anticipated. Jacob helped us set up a secure environment that met our IT security requirements while providing the computational resources needed. We evaluated several platforms: open source frameworks like Hugging Face, commercial solutions like OpenAI's fine-tuning API, and specialized marketing AI platforms. After comparing costs, technical requirements, and capabilities, we chose a middle path. We would use a commercial foundation model and fine-tune it with our data rather than building from scratch. This approach balanced cost, performance, and implementation time while keeping our proprietary data secure. The training process was iterative and often frustrating. Our first model outputs were barely better than generic AI. Sarah explained that effective training requires more than just feeding data. It needs careful selection of examples, proper weighting of different content types, and ongoing evaluation. We developed an evaluation framework with specific metrics: brand voice accuracy, technical accuracy, and marketing effectiveness. 3 team members would independently rate model outputs on these dimensions, allowing us to objectively measure improvement across training iterations. By the 3rd training iteration, the results improved dramatically. The model began producing content that captured our slightly irreverent tone while maintaining technical accuracy. It knew our product features, competitive positioning, and even referenced our company history correctly. Throughout this process, I developed skills I never expected to need as a marketer. I learned basic data engineering, how to properly structure data for machine learning. I gained experience with model evaluation techniques to objectively measure improvement. I developed a working understanding of prompt engineering, how to effectively communicate with AI systems to get desired results. Perhaps most valuable was learning to collaborate effectively with technical teams. I discovered how to translate marketing requirements into technical specifications data scientists could work with. I learned to prioritize features based on technical complexity versus business value, making better trade-offs during implementation. After 4 months of work, we had a functioning prototype, our first real brand brain. It existed as a custom API we could access through a simple interface. Users could input a brief, target audience, and desired content type, and the system would generate draft content that matched our brand voice and incorporated our product knowledge. The system wasn't perfect. It sometimes misunderstood complex briefs or combined product features incorrectly, but even at this early stage, it produced content that our team could refine rather than create from scratch, saving significant time while maintaining quality. The first real test would be using this system for an actual marketing campaign. We needed to prove it could deliver business value beyond technical interest. We selected an upcoming product feature launch as our test case, one that would require dozens of content pieces across multiple channels. As we prepared for this first production test, I reflected on how different the journey had been from my initial expectations. What I thought would be a straightforward technical project had become a complex cross-functional initiative that transformed not just our content processes, but how I understood marketing technology. The skills I developed weren't just technical, they changed how I approached marketing strategy. Understanding data structure, model capabilities, and evaluation methods gave me new tools for thinking about personalization, testing, and measurement. As we prepared to test our brand brain on real marketing challenges, I wondered how these new capabilities might transform our entire approach to marketing. The first big win: content creation revolution. What if you could produce a month's worth of content in a single afternoon? After months of development, we finally had our brand brain ready for a real-world test. Our timing couldn't have been better. We were preparing to launch a significant product update that would require content across multiple channels. Traditionally, this type of launch demanded at least 3 weeks of concentrated effort from our content team. We'd need to create social media posts for 5 platforms, email sequences for 3 customer segments, blog posts, landing page copy, and internal enablement materials for sales. The content calendar alone would typically take 2 days to plan. We selected social media content as our first test case. The stakes were lower than our website or email campaigns, but still visible enough to demonstrate real impact. I scheduled a 4-hour block with Emma from our content team and Jake, our social media specialist. We agreed to use the brand brain to generate content for the entire month-long campaign, 48 social posts across Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. The morning of our test, tension was high. Emma had been skeptical from the start, concerned that AI would produce generic content lacking the spark that made our brand distinctive. Jake worried the system wouldn't understand the nuances of different social platforms. I had my own concerns. What if after all this work, the output was no better than what we could get from generic AI tools? We gathered in a conference room with our laptops and a whiteboard. First, we created a detailed brief outlining the product update, key messaging points, target audiences, and campaign objectives. Then I showed them how to access our brand brain through the simple interface we'd built. The prompting techniques we developed proved crucial to getting quality results. Instead of vague requests like write a social post about our new feature, we created structured prompts with specific components. Each prompt included 1. Content type and platform specifications, character limits, hashtag policies. 2. Target audience segment with relevant pain points. 3. Specific feature or benefit to highlight. 4. Call to action aligned with the campaign stage. 5. Tone guidance, celebratory for launch posts, educational for feature deep dives. For example, one of our prompts read, create a LinkedIn post under 1,300 characters, targeting technical directors who struggle with system integration. Highlight our new API connector feature, specifically the reduced implementation time. Include a call to action to download the integration guide. Use a professional but slightly playful tone consistent with our previous technical content. The first outputs appeared on our screens within seconds. Jake and Emma leaned forward, scanning the text critically. The room was silent for a moment before Emma spoke. "This actually sounds like us," she said, surprise evident in her voice. It's got our technical accuracy, but also that slight irreverence we use. It's not just mimicking our voice, it's using it effectively. We generated another batch of posts, this time for Twitter. Again, the results maintained our brand voice while adapting to the platform's constraints. The system correctly included our standard hashtags and formatted the posts appropriately for each platform. As our confidence grew, we refined our process. Jake would craft the prompt, focusing on the marketing strategy and audience targeting. The system would generate 3 to 5 variations. Emma would then review them, sometimes selecting one outright, other times combining elements from multiple versions or requesting specific adjustments. We established a human review framework that balanced efficiency with quality control. Every piece of content went through a 3-step process. 1. Initial generation, using our structured prompts to create multiple variations. 2. Expert review, a content specialist evaluating for brand voice, accuracy, and effectiveness. 3. Refinement, either selecting the best version or using the feedback loop to generate improved alternatives. This process preserved human judgment for the creative and strategic elements while eliminating the time-consuming task of drafting from scratch. Emma could focus on evaluating and refining rather than staring at a blank page. By lunchtime, we had completed the entire month's social campaign. What would have taken our team 3 full days was accomplished in less than 4 hours. The content quality wasn't just acceptable. In many cases, it exceeded our typical output. The real test came the following day when we presented the campaign to our creative director, Sophia. She had been our most vocal skeptic, concerned that AI would produce generic marketing speak that would damage our brand. We didn't tell her which content was AI generated and which was from our previous campaigns. She reviewed the materials carefully, made a few small edits, and approved the campaign. When we revealed that 90% of what she'd just approved was generated by our brand brain, she was genuinely surprised. "I honestly can't tell the difference," she admitted. "The technical details are accurate, the tone is spot on, and some of these posts are genuinely clever. This isn't what I expected from AI." With her approval, we scheduled the campaign and tracked its performance. The results exceeded our expectations compared to our previous product launch campaigns. Content creation time decreased by 75% from approximately 24 hours to 6 hours, including review time. Social media engagement rates increased by 32% across platforms. Click-through rates improved by 26%. The campaign generated 41% more qualified lead form submissions. The time savings were immediately apparent. Our content team could now produce initial drafts for almost any marketing asset in minutes rather than hours. The review process still required human expertise, but it was significantly faster than creating content from scratch. Beyond the metrics, we noticed a qualitative improvement. The brand brain excelled at maintaining consistency across channels while adapting to different formats and audiences. It remembered key messages and themes across the campaign, creating a cohesive narrative that was sometimes lost when multiple writers worked on different pieces. The system also showed unexpected creativity. It combined product features and customer pain points in ways our team hadn't considered. It generated analogies and examples that were fresh yet perfectly aligned with our brand. Some of its headline variations outperformed our human-created standards. The specific AI tools that made this possible included: 1. Our custom-trained language model that understood our product, industry, and brand voice. 2. The prompt engineering framework we developed for different content types. 3. The human-in-the-loop interface that streamlined review and refinement. 4. Content performance tracking that helped the system learn from results. This initial success prompted immediate interest from other teams. Our demand generation team wanted to use the brand brain for email sequences. The product marketing team saw potential for creating customized sales enablement materials. Even our PR team expressed interest in using it to draft press releases and media pitches. We began developing specialized modules for different content needs. Each would use the same core brand brain, but with interfaces and prompting frameworks tailored to specific use cases. The social media success had demonstrated the potential, but we knew each channel would require its own approach. As I planned these expansions, I realized our content creation process had fundamentally changed. We were no longer limited by production capacity. The constraints were now in our strategic thinking and creative direction. We could execute faster than we could plan. This shift opened possibilities we hadn't considered in our initial business case. What if we could create personalized content for dozens of customer segments rather than broad audience categories? What if we could test multiple messaging approaches simultaneously rather than selecting one direction? What if content creation was no longer the bottleneck in our marketing process? Scaling up from content to campaign intelligence. What hidden patterns in your customer data could transform your campaign strategy if you could only see them? After our success with content creation, I began wondering if our brand brain could help us understand our customers better. While we had mountains of data across various platforms, we struggled to extract meaningful insights. Our weekly marketing meetings involved presentations of numbers from different systems, but we rarely identified actionable patterns across these disconnected sources. Our analytics approach was typical of many marketing teams. We tracked standard metrics in silos. Website analytics lived in Google Analytics. Social media performance was tracked in each platform's native analytics. Email data stayed in our marketing automation system. CRM data remained separate. We generated reports from each system, but connecting these dots required manual work that often didn't happen due to time constraints. I proposed expanding our AI implementation to tackle this challenge. Instead of just generating content, could our system analyze our campaign data and identify patterns humans had missed? The idea was ambitious, moving from content creation to true marketing intelligence. The technical challenges were significant. First, our campaign data existed in completely different formats across platforms. Website analytics provided behavioral data like page views and conversion paths. Social media platforms offered engagement metrics. Email systems tracked opens, clicks, and conversion rates. Our CRM contained customer attributes, deal stages, and sales interactions. We needed to transform these disparate data sources into a unified format our AI could analyze. This required building data connectors for each platform, cleaning inconsistent data, and normalizing metrics across sources. The data engineering effort took nearly 6 weeks, with constant revisions as we discovered new inconsistencies. Even more challenging was training our model to find meaningful patterns rather than obvious correlations. Early attempts produced insights like email campaigns with higher open rates had higher conversion rates. Technically accurate but not useful. We needed the system to identify non-obvious relationships that could inform our strategy. Working with our data science team, we refined our approach. Instead of asking the AI to find any patterns, we provided specific marketing questions. Which content topics corresponded with faster sales cycles? What sequence of interactions most often led to customer conversions? How did customer behavior differ by industry, company size, and job role? These structured queries helped focus the AI's analysis. We also implemented a confidence scoring system. The AI would rate its own findings based on data, volume, consistency across segments, and statistical significance. This prevented us from acting on patterns that might be coincidental rather than meaningful. The technical solution involved creating a data pipeline that fed all our marketing information into our brand brain. We configured the system to analyze this data weekly, generating a report of potential insights ranked by confidence score and potential business impact. Making these insights accessible required another innovation. Technical data visualizations would overwhelm our marketing team, so we created an interface that translated insights into plain language with supporting visuals. Team members could explore findings through simple queries rather than complex data tools. After 2 months of development, we launched our campaign intelligence system. The initial results were underwhelming. Most insights seemed obvious or inconclusive, but as the system processed more data and we refined our queries, it began identifying patterns we'd completely missed. The first major breakthrough came when analyzing our buyer journey. Our marketing had always assumed a linear progression. Awareness content led to consideration, which led to decision. Our campaigns were structured around this 3-stage funnel. The AI identified something completely different. It found that our most valuable customers rarely followed this path. Instead, they typically engaged with technical content first, regardless of where they were in their buying journey. They valued depth before breadth. Our traditional awareness content actually performed poorly with our highest value prospects. This insight challenged our entire content strategy. We had been producing broad what is content for early stage buyers and technical content for later stages. The data showed we needed technical content across all stages, adjusting the depth and specificity rather than the topic type. Another surprising pattern emerged when analyzing customer segments. We had organized our targeting by industry and company size, assuming these were the strongest predictors of needs and conversion potential. The AI discovered that buying behavior correlated much more strongly with the customer's technology stack than their industry. Companies using certain technology combinations had conversion rates 340% higher than our average, regardless of their industry. These prospects moved through our funnel 58% faster and had average deal sizes 27% larger. This pattern existed across our data for years, but our industry-focused segmentation had hidden it. Perhaps most valuable was the systems analysis of content sequencing. We discovered specific content consumption patterns that strongly predicted purchase intent. Prospects who consumed content in particular sequences were 4.7 times more likely to become customers than those who viewed the same content in different orders. For example, prospects who viewed product comparison pages before feature pages converted at much higher rates than those who did the opposite. Those who engaged with customer stories after technical documentation were 3.2 times more likely to request a demo than those who read them before. These insights transformed our campaign approach. We restructured our customer segmentation based on technology stack rather than industry alone. We redesigned our content journeys to guide prospects through the high conversion sequences the AI had identified. We shifted resource allocation to create more technical content across all funnel stages. The results were dramatic. Within 3 months of implementing these changes, conversion rates improved by 32% across our digital campaigns. Sales cycle length decreased by 24% for prospects following our new content sequences. Cost per qualified lead decreased by 41% as our targeting precision improved. Campaign ROI increased by 37%, despite maintaining the same budget. What made these improvements possible wasn't just the AI's analytical power, but its ability to identify patterns across disconnected systems. Human analysts struggled to connect website behavior, email engagement, social interactions, and CRM data simultaneously. Our brand brain could analyze all these dimensions together, identifying multivariate patterns invisible in siloed reports. As these insights drove improved performance, interest in the AI system grew across the organization. Sales wanted access to better understand prospect behavior. Product marketing wanted insights to inform feature prioritization. Customer success wanted to identify satisfaction patterns to reduce churn. The system's influence expanded beyond my initial vision. What began as a content creation tool had evolved into a central intelligence platform influencing our entire go-to-market strategy. The insights it generated weren't just improving campaign performance, they were reshaping how we understood our customers and our business. This expanding influence created new organizational dynamics. As the system's insights challenged established assumptions, some teams embraced the data-driven approach while others resisted. Decision-making processes that had been based on seniority and experience were now confronted with AI-generated insights that sometimes contradicted conventional wisdom. These organizational tensions would become our next significant challenge as the AI system's influence continued to grow. The human element, resistance and adaptation. What happens when your colleagues realize AI can do parts of their job better than they can? While our marketing campaigns were showing impressive improvements, an unexpected challenge emerged from within our own team. The positive metrics that excited me became a source of anxiety for others. The first signs of resistance appeared during a campaign review meeting. We were discussing the performance of our AI-generated content, which was outperforming our previous campaigns by significant margins. As I shared the statistics, I noticed uncomfortable shifting in seats and averted gazes. Later that day, 3 team members canceled their scheduled training sessions on the new AI system. Within weeks, a pattern of passive resistance formed. Content specialists who had previously been enthusiastic began submitting vague feedback on AI-generated drafts. Some delayed reviewing AI outputs, creating bottlenecks in our workflow. Others added unnecessary revisions, effectively redoing work the AI had completed correctly. The system that was meant to save time was becoming mired in human-created delays. In one notable instance, our senior copywriter Marcus submitted a scathing critique of an AI-generated email sequence. He highlighted minor issues while ignoring that the sequence had achieved a 43% higher open rate in A/B testing. When I asked him about the discrepancy between his criticism and the results, his response revealed the real issue. Sure, the numbers look good now, but what happens when the AI gets good enough that you don't need me to review it anymore? The resistance wasn't limited to the content team. Campaign managers questioned the validity of the AI's audience insights despite clear performance improvements. Analytics specialists suggested the positive results might be temporary or coincidental. Even our creative director, who had initially supported the project, began emphasizing the limitations of AI creativity in leadership meetings. These reactions went beyond normal change resistance. They reflected existential concerns about job security and professional identity. Our content specialists had spent years honing their craft, and now a machine could produce comparable or better work in seconds. Campaign managers who prided themselves on audience intuition saw their expertise challenged by data-driven insights. Analytics specialists who manually connected data points were being outperformed by automated pattern recognition. The specific concerns varied by role. Content creators worried primarily about job security. If this thing can write as well as I can, what exactly am I bringing to the table? Asked one writer during a tense one-on-one meeting. Creative team members expressed concerns about originality and brand integrity. AI can only remix what already exists. It can't create truly original concepts. Campaign managers questioned the decision-making authority. Who's accountable if an AI-recommended campaign fails? The machine? I realized I had made a critical mistake in my implementation approach. I had focused entirely on the technology and business outcomes without adequately addressing the human impact. These concerns weren't irrational resistance to change, they were legitimate questions about how AI would transform careers and professional identities. I needed a different approach that acknowledged these concerns while still moving forward with our AI implementation. Working with our HR team, I developed a comprehensive communication and transition plan. First, we created a clear overview of our AI strategy that explicitly stated we were not pursuing headcount reduction. Instead, we emphasized how AI would handle routine tasks so team members could focus on higher value work. We scheduled department-wide discussions where team members could openly share their concerns without judgment. During these sessions, I acknowledged the uncertainty AI created and shared my own initial fears about the technology. Rather than dismissing concerns, we documented them and incorporated them into our implementation planning. These honest conversations revealed deeper issues than I had anticipated. Many team members weren't just worried about losing their jobs. They were concerned about losing the parts of their work they found most meaningful. Our senior copywriter explained, I don't mind giving up the tedious parts of my job, but writing creative concepts is what I love. If AI takes that too, what's left for me? With these insights, we co-created a framework for human-AI collaboration. Instead of imposing a structure from above, we invited team members to help define which tasks should be AI-assisted versus human-driven. We organized collaborative workshops where different departments identified their unique value add beyond what current AI could provide. These workshops produced surprising insights. Our content team realized that while AI excelled at drafting based on established patterns, humans still dominated in developing original campaign concepts, understanding subtle emotional nuances, and creating brand-defining cornerstone content. Campaign managers recognized that while AI could identify patterns in historical data, humans were superior at anticipating market shifts and understanding competitor psychology. Based on these workshops, we developed role transition plans for each department. For content creators, we shifted emphasis from production to strategy and concept development. Writers, who had spent 70% of their time drafting, now spent 70% on creative direction and 30% on reviewing and refining AI outputs. Campaign managers transitioned from tactical optimization to strategic planning and competitive analysis. To support these transitions, we created a comprehensive reskilling program. We offered courses in advanced brand strategy, creative direction, and AI prompt engineering. We developed certification paths for new hybrid roles like AI content director and intelligence augmented campaign strategist. These new titles and skill sets helped address identity concerns by creating valued roles that incorporated AI expertise. We also established clear boundaries around creative ownership. AI-generated content was positioned as a tool under human direction rather than an autonomous creator. We implemented a system where humans received primary credit for creative direction while acknowledging AI assistance in execution, similar to how a director receives primary creative credit for a film while working with specialized technical teams. The most effective element of our transition plan was creating opportunities for team members to become AI champions. We identified people from each department who showed interest in the technology and provided them with advanced training. These champions then helped train their colleagues and became the first points of contact for AI-related questions. This peer-to-peer approach reduced resistance more effectively than top-down directives. Over time, the resistance began to subside as team members experienced the benefits of AI augmentation. Content specialists found they could manage larger projects with greater creative control. Campaign managers discovered they had time for strategic initiatives that had been consistently backlogged. Analytics specialists developed more sophisticated analysis capabilities by building on the AI's initial insights. Perhaps the most significant impact came from the shift in how we structured our work. Rather than organizing around production capacity, we restructured around strategic thinking and creative direction. This elevated everyone's role and created new opportunities for leadership and innovation. The resistance we faced ultimately strengthened our implementation by forcing us to clearly articulate the unique value of human creativity and strategic thinking. Instead of positioning AI as a replacement for human work, we developed a nuanced understanding of the complementary strengths of humans and machines. This balanced approach not only reduced resistance but led to better outcomes than either humans or AI could have achieved independently. As we refined this balance, we discovered there were specific areas where the human element wasn't just preferred, it was essential for marketing effectiveness. Finding the perfect balance, human plus AI synergy. Which marketing tasks should you never automate, no matter how advanced your AI becomes? After successfully implementing AI across multiple marketing functions, we faced a critical question. What's the right balance between human creativity and machine efficiency? While our brand brain had proven its value, we needed clear guidelines about where to apply it and where human expertise remained essential. We began a systematic evaluation of every marketing task in our department. Our goal was to identify the ideal division of labor. Which responsibilities should be handled by AI, which should remain fully human, and which worked best as a collaborative effort. This wasn't just about efficiency. It was about finding the balance that produced the best marketing results. To gather data, we designed a 3-month experiment. We selected 20 different marketing tasks ranging from content creation to campaign analysis. For each task, we created 3 parallel workflows. One using only human team members, one using only our AI system, and one using a collaborative approach where humans and AI work together with clearly defined roles. The results from some tasks were predictable. Performance reporting, for example, was 87% faster when fully automated while maintaining the same accuracy. Content formatting and distribution showed similar efficiency gains with no quality loss. But other results surprised us. One of our most notable failed automation attempts was campaign concept development. We tried using the brand brain to generate innovative campaign concepts based on our strategic briefs. While it produced ideas that appeared solid on paper when we tested them with focus groups, they consistently underperformed compared to human-created concepts. The AI-generated campaigns were coherent and on-brand, but lacked the emotional depth and cultural relevance that our human team naturally incorporated. Another fascinating failure came when we attempted to automate customer persona development. The AI analyzed customer data and created detailed personas that seemed comprehensive. However, when our sales team reviewed them, they immediately identified critical nuances missing from the AI versions. The human-created personas captured subtle emotional drivers and unstated objections that the data alone couldn't reveal. Crisis communication provided another clear boundary. When we simulated various PR scenarios, the AI responses were technically correct, but lacked the empathy and situational judgment needed in sensitive situations. As one team member noted, the AI doesn't understand what it feels like to be a customer who's been disappointed or hurt by a brand mistake. These experiments helped us develop a framework for evaluating any marketing task and determining the appropriate level of automation. We assessed tasks along 3 dimensions. First, we considered whether the task was repetitive or creative. Repetitive tasks with clear patterns benefited most from automation, while highly creative work typically required significant human input. Second, we evaluated whether decisions were primarily data-driven or intuitive. Tasks requiring straightforward data analysis excelled under AI management, while those demanding intuitive leaps or emotional intelligence performed better with human guidance. Third, we determined if the task was rule-based or judgment-based. Rule-based tasks with clear parameters consistently improved with automation, while judgment-based work requiring contextual understanding needed human oversight. Using this framework, we created a comprehensive task allocation map. Some responsibilities were fully automated: performance reporting, content distribution, initial data analysis, and basic A/B test creation. Others became collaborative efforts: content creation, AI drafting, humans editing; audience segmentation, AI identifying patterns, humans providing context; and campaign optimization, AI suggesting improvements, humans making final decisions. Most importantly, we identified specific marketing tasks that should never be fully automated regardless of how advanced our AI became. These included: 1. Brand strategy development. The fundamental decisions about positioning, values, and personality required human judgment informed by experience and intuition that AI couldn't replicate. 2. Creative concept origination. Truly innovative campaign ideas emerged from human experience, cultural awareness, and emotional understanding beyond what our AI could generate. 3. Crisis communication. The nuanced judgment required for sensitive situations demanded human empathy and ethical reasoning. 4. Customer relationship nurturing. The authentic human connection in high-value client relationships couldn't be replicated by even our most advanced AI. 5. Cultural trend interpretation. Understanding emerging social movements and their relevance to our brand required human cultural immersion impossible to automate. With clear boundaries established, we restructured our workflows to maximize the complementary strengths of humans and AI. We created new role definitions and project templates that specified exactly where AI should be applied and where human creativity was essential. For content creation, we established a hybrid workflow. Our brand brain would generate initial drafts based on strategic briefs. Human creators would then review, refine, and add the distinctive creative elements that elevated the content. Final approval always required human judgment to ensure brand alignment and emotional resonance. For campaign planning, we developed a structured process. The AI analyzed performance data from past campaigns and identified potential opportunities. Human strategists then developed creative concepts and positioning. The AI would generate tactical execution plans, which humans would review and refine. This approach combined data-driven insights with human creativity. The most unexpected outcome was the creative renaissance that occurred when our team was freed from repetitive tasks. With the AI handling routine content production, performance reporting, and basic optimization, our team members could focus almost exclusively on strategic and creative work. Writers who previously spent 70% of their time producing standard content now invested that time in developing bold creative concepts. Analysts who had been buried in spreadsheets now conducted thoughtful investigations into consumer psychology. Campaign managers who had been consumed by tactical adjustments now reimagined entire customer journeys. This shift produced marketing that was both more efficient and more innovative. Our campaigns began incorporating unexpected creative approaches that connected emotionally with audiences while maintaining the tactical excellence the AI provided. The specific marketing tasks we found should never be automated with AI shared common characteristics. They all required emotional intelligence, cultural awareness, ethical judgment, or truly original thinking. Keeping these responsibilities human-driven significantly improved our results because they leveraged uniquely human capabilities that even our advanced brand brain couldn't replicate. By identifying and protecting these areas of human creativity while embracing automation for appropriate tasks, we achieved a balance that outperformed either approach alone. Our content was more consistent and plentiful thanks to AI assistance, while remaining distinctive and emotionally resonant due to human creative direction. The increased creative output and stronger campaign performance raised a new question. How could we measure the overall impact of our AI transformation beyond anecdotal success stories? We needed comprehensive metrics to quantify the business value and justify continued investment in our AI capabilities. Measuring success, the transformation in numbers. What would you do with an extra 20 hours per week and a 40% increase in marketing performance? After 6 months of implementing our brand brain across multiple marketing functions, we needed to quantify its impact. Senior leadership wanted concrete proof that our AI investment was delivering meaningful business results, not just technological novelty. We designed a comprehensive assessment framework to measure the transformation. This wasn't a simple task. Marketing performance is influenced by countless variables: competitive activity, seasonal trends, market conditions, and budget changes. Isolating AI's specific contribution required careful methodology. The first challenge was establishing a reliable baseline. We collected performance data from the 6 months prior to our AI implementation, normalizing for seasonal factors and marketing spend. We tracked 23 specific metrics across content production, campaign performance, team efficiency, and business outcomes to ensure comprehensive measurement. The second challenge was attribution. When a campaign performed better, how could we determine whether it was due to our AI tools or other factors? We designed control tests where similar campaigns ran simultaneously, some using our traditional approaches and others using AI-enhanced methods. This parallel testing gave us direct comparisons with minimal variables. Time tracking provided our most striking results. Before implementing AI, we had established detailed baselines of how our team spent their hours. Every team member logged their activities for 2 weeks using a standardized classification system. This baseline revealed 72% of marketing hours went to routine, tactical tasks rather than strategic work. 6 months after implementation, we repeated this time tracking exercise. The results showed a 62% reduction in hours spent on routine tasks across the marketing team. Tasks that previously consumed entire days now required just hours. Weekly content production meetings that once took 3 hours were completed in 45 minutes with higher quality outcomes. Content creation showed the most dramatic time savings. Creating a standard blog post had previously required 8.5 hours from brief to publication. With our brand brain, the average time dropped to 2.7 hours while maintaining quality standards. Email campaign creation decreased from 6.2 hours to 1.8 hours per campaign. Social content production time reduced from 4.1 hours to 1.2 hours for a week's worth of content. Campaign management showed similar efficiency gains. Launching a new digital campaign previously required 12.3 hours of setup time across platforms. Our AI tools reduced this to 4.8 hours. Ongoing optimization that consumed 9.5 hours weekly per campaign now required just 3.2 hours while delivering better performance. Measuring quality improvements required both objective and subjective metrics. For objective measurement, we tracked performance indicators for each content type and campaign. We compared engagement rates, conversion metrics, time on page, and other quantifiable metrics between AI-assisted content and our previous content. The results contradicted fears that AI would produce lower quality marketing. AI-assisted blog content showed 28% higher average time on page and 32% more social shares than our previous content. Email campaigns created with AI guidance had 23% higher click-through rates and 18% better conversion rates. Social content generated with our brand brain achieved 37% higher engagement rates across platforms. For subjective quality assessment, we implemented blind reviews. We presented marketing materials to our creative directors and brand guardians without identifying which were AI-assisted. They evaluated each piece on brand alignment, creativity, and persuasiveness using standardized rubrics. In these blind evaluations, AI-assisted content received quality scores averaging 8.2/10 compared to 7.9/10 for traditional content. The specific performance improvements extended beyond just time savings. Content production volume increased by 341% without adding staff. Our team produced 43 blog posts monthly compared to our previous average of 12. and our social media presence expanded from 3 platforms to 5, while maintaining consistent voice and quality. Campaign optimization became significantly faster and more effective. Traditional A/B testing cycles that took weeks now completed in days, allowing rapid refinement. Our campaign ROI improved by 43% as we quickly identified and scaled winning approaches while adjusting or abandoning underperforming tactics. Targeting accuracy showed remarkable improvement. The AI system identified customer segments and behaviors that our manual analysis had missed. These insights led to a 38% increase in qualified lead generation from the same marketing spend. Conversion rates from marketing qualified lead to sales qualified lead improved by 27% through better audience matching. Perhaps most valuable was how we reinvested the time saved. Our content team shifted from production to strategic storytelling and brand differentiation. Our campaign managers developed comprehensive competitor analyses and market opportunity assessments. Our analytics team moved from report generation to predictive modeling and customer journey mapping. These strategic initiatives had consistently been pushed aside in favor of daily production demands. Now they received proper attention, leading to significant strategic improvements. We developed a differentiated positioning strategy that separated us from new competitors. We identified and expanded into 2 adjacent market segments with strong growth potential. We created a customer loyalty program based on previously untapped behavioral data. After 6 months, 3 metrics showed the most dramatic improvement. First, team productivity increased by 68% as measured by marketing outputs per employee hour. This wasn't simply working faster, it represented a fundamental shift in how our team invested their time, focusing on high-value activities while automating routine work. Second, campaign ROI improved by 43% across our marketing programs. This resulted from better targeting, faster optimization, more effective messaging, and reduced production costs. The same marketing budget generated significantly better business outcomes. Third, content engagement increased by 37% across all channels and formats. Our content connected more effectively with audiences because we could produce more targeted materials for specific segments rather than generic content aimed at broad audiences. These improvements convinced our leadership team to expand our AI investment. What began as a limited pilot became a central component of our marketing strategy with dedicated budget and resources. The marketing department transformed from a cost center constantly justifying its expense to a revenue driver showing clear business impact. My role transformed dramatically throughout this process. I had started as a tactical marketing manager, largely executing day-to-day campaigns and content. As our AI capabilities expanded, my focus shifted to strategy development, innovation projects, and cross-functional leadership. With 22 hours weekly freed from routine tasks, I could lead initiatives that advanced my career and delivered greater business value. I developed our entry strategy for 2 new market segments. I created our customer journey mapping framework. I built partnerships with sales and product teams to align our go-to-market approach. These contributions led to my promotion to Director of Marketing Innovation, a role that would never have existed without our AI transformation. Instead of managing daily marketing production, I now led our strategic initiatives and continued advancing our AI capabilities. My career trajectory had completely changed from a tactical executor to a strategic leader. As our success became visible across the organization, leaders from other departments began asking how similar approaches might transform their functions. What had started as a marketing experiment was becoming a model for the company's broader digital transformation. My personal transformation. From tactician to strategist. How does your career trajectory change when you become the person who brought AI transformation to your company? At the start of our AI journey, I was a marketing manager drowning in tactical work. My days revolved around content calendars, campaign metrics, and endless status meetings. I had ideas for strategic initiatives, but never found time to develop them. My career felt stuck in execution mode, while strategic leadership remained out of reach. The transformation didn't happen overnight. As our brand brain implementation expanded, my role began to shift gradually. I still maintained responsibility for our daily marketing operations, but increasing portions of that work transferred to our AI systems under my guidance. Each week, I reclaimed more hours from routine tasks. This transition created a challenging balancing act. I needed to develop entirely new skills while still delivering on my existing responsibilities. The technical learning curve was particularly steep. I had to understand enough about machine learning to effectively communicate with our data science partners. I spent evenings studying Python basics and natural language processing concepts. I joined AI marketing communities and dedicated weekends to online courses. Beyond technical knowledge, I needed to develop strategic thinking abilities that had atrophied during years of tactical execution. I created a deliberate career development plan focused on 3 growth areas. First, AI expertise, understanding the capabilities, limitations, and implementation approaches for marketing AI. Second, strategic planning, developing skills for market analysis, competitive positioning, and long-term road mapping. Third, change management, learning to navigate organizational resistance and lead cross-functional initiatives. I scheduled dedicated learning time each week, treating it with the same priority as any other work commitment. I found mentors both within our organization and through professional networks. Our CTO provided guidance on technology integration, while our Chief Strategy Officer advised on approaching strategic planning. I joined an AI leadership program that connected me with peers facing similar transformations in their organizations. The practical experience of implementing our AI systems proved more valuable than any formal learning. Each challenge became a growth opportunity. When our content team resisted the new tools, I developed change management approaches that addressed their specific concerns. When we needed to integrate disparate data sources, I learned enough about data pipelines to effectively guide our technical partners. As our AI systems took over more routine work, my role changed fundamentally. Before, nearly 80% of my time went to content production and campaign management, writing copy, scheduling posts, adjusting campaign parameters, and reporting results. As these tasks shifted to AI with human oversight, my focus changed to strategy development and innovation. Instead of writing social media posts, I developed our 3-year content strategy. Rather than manually adjusting campaign parameters, I redesigned our entire campaign approach based on AI-identified customer patterns. The scope of my work expanded from executing predefined campaigns to identifying new market opportunities. This shift came with new responsibilities I hadn't anticipated. I became responsible for AI governance across marketing, establishing guidelines for appropriate AI use, ensuring ethical application, and developing quality control processes. I created our AI ethics framework that addressed issues like transparency, bias prevention, and appropriate disclosure of AI-generated content. Cross-functional leadership became a central part of my role. I led working groups that included members from marketing, IT, data science, legal, and product teams. I had to understand enough about each function to facilitate productive collaboration. I learned to translate between technical and business languages, helping specialists from different areas communicate effectively. Strategic planning shifted from an aspirational part of my job description to my primary responsibility. I led our competitive analysis process, identifying market threats and opportunities. I developed our customer journey framework that guided all marketing activities. I created our marketing technology roadmap, planning future capabilities beyond our current implementation. My relationship with executive leadership transformed completely. Before our AI initiative, my interactions with C-suite executives were limited to occasional presentations of campaign results. As our AI success became visible, I received invitations to strategic planning sessions and board presentations. The CEO, who previously couldn't recognize me in the hallway, now sought my input on how AI might transform other parts of the business. The most meaningful change came in how I invested my time. The 22 hours weekly that AI freed from routine tasks went to initiatives that delivered genuine business impact. I led the development of our entry strategy into 2 adjacent markets, expanding our potential customer base by 47%. I created a comprehensive competitive response plan that successfully countered 3 new market entrants. I developed a customer retention program that reduced churn by 18% in its first quarter. These strategic contributions directly led to my promotion to Director of Marketing Innovation, a role created specifically to recognize my contribution and expand my ability to drive transformation. My compensation increased by 35%, but more importantly, my work became significantly more fulfilling. Instead of executing someone else's strategy, I was now shaping our marketing direction and business growth. This journey taught me that Career advancement in the AI era requires actively embracing technological change rather than resisting it. By positioning myself as the bridge between technology and marketing strategy, I created a unique value proposition within our organization. I wasn't the deepest technical expert or the most experienced marketer, but I could connect those domains in ways that delivered business results. The transformation extends beyond my personal experience. Team members who embraced AI training and adapted their roles also saw career advancement. Our social media specialist who learned prompt engineering became our content AI manager with a 22% pay increase. Our analytics specialist who helped develop our campaign intelligence system became our customer insights director. For those who resisted change, career progression stalled. They remained valuable for their existing skills, but missed opportunities to develop new capabilities that drove career growth. The technology didn't replace these professionals, but it changed what the organization valued most from them. The advice I now share with marketing professionals facing AI disruption is straightforward. Become the person who leads the transformation rather than the one who resists it. Don't wait for perfect understanding before taking action. Start with small applications that demonstrate value, then expand methodically. Document results meticulously and communicate outcomes in business terms, not technical jargon. Your first AI implementations don't need to be complex. Begin by identifying repetitive tasks that consume significant time with limited strategic value. Use basic AI tools to automate these functions, then reinvest the saved time in learning more advanced applications and developing strategic initiatives. The marketers who will thrive in the next decade aren't those with the deepest expertise in current tools or channels. Success will belong to those who can identify how to combine human creativity with AI capabilities to deliver business results neither could achieve alone. That strategic perspective, more than any specific technical skill, creates the career trajectory that leads from tactical execution to strategic leadership. Your first steps, starting the AI marketing journey. What if you could begin your AI marketing transformation tomorrow, regardless of your position or budget? After sharing my journey, I've received hundreds of messages asking how to get started with AI marketing. People worry they need technical expertise, significant budgets, or organizational support to begin. The truth is much simpler. You can start your AI journey immediately with practical steps that deliver quick wins. The most common barrier I hear about is technical knowledge. Many marketers believe they need programming skills or data science expertise before implementing AI. This simply isn't true. Today's AI tools offer intuitive interfaces designed for non-technical users. You don't need to understand the underlying algorithms to benefit from them. Just as you don't need to understand how a car engine works to drive one, you don't need to know how neural networks function to use AI marketing tools. Budget constraints represent another frequent concern. Marketing teams often operate with limited resources, making large technology investments challenging. The good news is that many powerful AI tools offer free or low-cost entry points. You can begin with zero-budget options and demonstrate value before requesting additional investment. Several of the tools I'll share have free tiers that provide significant functionality. Organizational resistance often stops marketers before they start. Colleagues and leaders may view AI with skepticism or concern. This resistance typically stems from misunderstanding what AI marketing actually involves. By starting small, documenting results, and focusing on business outcomes rather than technology, you can gradually build support without needing organizational approval for your initial steps. The first practical step in your AI journey is conducting a detailed time audit. This simple yet powerful exercise reveals which tasks consume your time without delivering proportional value. For 1 week, track every task you perform, how long it takes, and categorize it as either strategic or tactical. Be specific. Instead of social media management, break it down into writing posts, creating images, scheduling content, and responding to comments. After completing your time audit, identify tasks that are repetitive in nature, follow consistent patterns, consume significant time, and deliver relatively low strategic value. These represent your first automation opportunities. In my experience, most marketers discover that 60-70% of their time goes to activities that match these criteria. There are 3 distinct levels of AI implementation you can progress through, starting with the simplest. Level 1 begins with basic AI tools that require no technical expertise. These include content generators like ChatGPT, image creators like Midjourney, and off-the-shelf marketing automation platforms with AI capabilities. These tools work immediately without customization, but may produce generic results. They're perfect for gaining quick wins and building confidence. Level 2 involves custom workflows where you combine AI tools and train them with specific instructions. This means creating detailed prompting frameworks, developing templates, and establishing review processes. At this level, you're not building custom technology, but you're creating proprietary approaches to using existing tools. This delivers better results while requiring minimal technical knowledge. Level 3 represents full brand brains. Custom AI models trained on your proprietary data. This approach delivers the most powerful results but requires more technical expertise and organizational commitment. Most marketers should aim for this level eventually, but begin with levels 1 and 2 to demonstrate value and build support. Numerous free and low-cost resources can help you develop the necessary skills. Online learning platforms offer AI marketing courses ranging from beginner to advanced. AI tool providers typically offer extensive documentation and tutorial videos. Marketing-focused AI communities provide peer support and practical advice. I've compiled these resources into a learning roadmap you can access through the link in the description. For your first implementation, select one specific task from your time audit. Social media content creation, basic performance reporting, or content repurposing often provide quick wins. Start by defining exactly what success looks like. Time saved, content volume increase, or performance improvement. Document your current process and metrics as a baseline for comparison. Next, select an appropriate tool for your chosen task. For content creation, tools like ChatGPT or Google Gemini provide free entry points. For social media management, platforms like Okoya streamline content creation and scheduling. For simple design tasks, Canva Magic Design can generate professional visuals without design expertise. When you begin using these tools, focus on developing effective prompts. The difference between mediocre and excellent AI outputs often comes down to how you communicate with the system. Be specific about your brand voice, target audience, content objectives, and desired formats. Provide examples of successful content for the AI to learn from. Treat the AI as a collaborative partner rather than a replacement for your expertise. Establish a quality control process from the beginning. AI outputs should always receive human review before publication. Create a checklist covering brand alignment, factual accuracy, and strategic fit. This human oversight ensures quality while still capturing significant time savings. As you generate initial results, document everything meticulously. Track time savings, output increases, and performance metrics. Gather feedback from colleagues and customers. Create before and after comparisons that clearly demonstrate the impact. These documented results become the foundation of your business case for further investment. When building your business case, focus entirely on business outcomes rather than technology. Instead of highlighting the AI capabilities, emphasize the concrete results. We increased content production by 40% while maintaining quality standards, or we reduced campaign optimization time from 8 hours to 2 hours weekly. Frame AI as a solution to existing business problems rather than a technology initiative. Tomorrow, you can begin this journey with 3 specific steps. First, start your time audit. Create a simple spreadsheet with columns for task, time spent, and category, strategic or tactical. Second, open a free account with a general-purpose AI tool like ChatGPT or Google Gemini. Begin experimenting with basic prompts for tasks you identified in your audit. Third, join an AI marketing community where you can learn from peers and access resources. The combination of these steps will give you immediate momentum. The marketers who thrive in the coming years won't be those with the deepest expertise in current channels or tactics. Success will come to those who effectively combine human creativity and strategic thinking with AI's efficiency and analytical capabilities. By beginning your AI journey now, regardless of your current role or resources, you position yourself to lead rather than follow as marketing continues its transformation. As we look toward the future of marketing in the AI era, one thing becomes increasingly clear. The fundamental nature of marketing work is changing. The question is no longer whether AI will transform marketing, but how quickly you'll adapt to this new reality. The marketers who will thrive in the next decade aren't those who resist AI, but those who use it to amplify their uniquely human, creative, and strategic abilities. According to recent research, 67% of CMOs plan to implement generative AI within the next 12 months, with 86% planning to do so within 24 months. Your journey toward building your own brand brain starts with a simple question. What tasks are preventing you from doing your most valuable work? As Jessica Apotheker advises, marketers should choose their brain, focusing on creative innovation or specializing in predictive AI competencies. Take the first step tomorrow by conducting a time audit and identifying one repetitive task you can automate.